Anytime I'm meeting someone new, it's always a big deal to people. You know, they're always amazed that there's an actual person behind the voice.
Hello, I'm here to help.
There was one Halloween where a child came to the front door and said, all the neighbors say you're Siri. And I said, yes, I am. And he said, you don't sound like Siri. And I said, how about now? Well, I started off in this business as a singer and musician. And this was many years ago when they used to do commercial jingles and they would have groups of people recording in the studio at the same time. And I was one of those lucky folks. One day the voice talent didn't show up and the owner of the studio said, Susan, you don't have an accent. Come over here and read this copy. And I thought, okay. So I did that and I thought, well, this is something I can do. So I got a voice coach and an agent and that was that. The first time I appeared as a machine or representing a machine was for Tilly the All-Time Teller for First National Bank of Atlanta, and it was at a time when ATMs were just being introduced and everyone was afraid to use them. No one wanted to go get their money from a machine. So they got me to sing the jingle as Tilly the All-Time Teller. I'm Tilly the All-Time Teller. I work for First National Bank. The vocabulary that ultimately became the original voice of Siri was recorded in 2005, the whole month of July, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And what we did was read hundreds and hundreds of sentences and phrases that were created solely for sound. Say fluff, see Ethel today. Say CS fluster today. And after the recordings were done, technicians went in and extracted sounds and reformed new phrases and sentences. And these are what ended up on the digital devices. This process is called concatenation. And the thing that made Siri, the original Siri, so iconic is because she was the first concatenated voice that sounded pretty human and you could interact with her. Previously, all of the concatenated voices sounded like, hello, how are you? The original Siri was introduced on October 4th, 2011, and that's when I found out. A fellow voice actor emailed me and said, hey, we're playing around with this new iPhone. Isn't this you? And I went, what? And went to the Apple site and checked it out and said, yes, that's me. They changed all of the original Siri voices with the OS 7 system. And many people can't tell the difference, but of course, to me, it's very obvious. At this point in time, because I have done so much digital recording, and I don't know whether that's a compliment or not, I ended up being on a lot of different systems. Now calling Zone 1. Thank you for flying Delta Airlines. I was the voice of my son's bank in college, so you can imagine how popular I was with him at that time. I'm sorry, you are overdrawn. I've been doing voice work and singing for decades, shall we say decades, and I absolutely love it, and I plan to do it as long as I possibly can. I would like to say thank you to Oprah. Thank you, Oprah. Bye-bye.